Here's a debrief episode. Haven't done one of these in a while. We're going to look at Benjamin Franklin, his daily routine, and some stuff he was working on. We're going to look at Arnold's Pump Club, how to pump yourself up. We're going to look at a old Greg Glassman quote, and going to parse some Ryan Holiday stoic outlooks and philosophy. So, see what you think.
Welcome to the Warrior Mindset Podcast. We're your guide as you make your way through life, getting better 1% every day. We believe that life is lived and true victory won through adversity. Nothing easy is ever worth it. We believe in the warrior ethos and support those that choose to walk that path.
So we've all sort of been sucked into these to-do lists or like daily morning routines or affirmations and stuff. It's pretty neat to get into that. I distinctly remember, I don't know, 8 years ago or so, 10 years ago or so, that people were starting to get into these things and studying them, and it was just sort of taking off. There was a couple of like getting things done type things. And one of them that came out was Benjamin Franklin's daily routine thing. And I wanted to go over that a little bit. So let's take a look at that thing that sort of came out. So he had this card, and I'm going to tell you, I found this cool article on CNN. Um, it's a little old, but it goes through some stuff and things that he did. So the whole point is that we regard these founding fathers or whatever, these people, we hold them up on a pedestal and stuff, and we don't often think about, well, we're taught about all their virtues and all the things they did, like Benjamin Franklin, George Washington stuff. We don't often look at them in terms of the other side. So this whole thing that Franklin did and wrote about, he in this article, is that he took a critical look at his behaviors, and he found that too often he traveled down paths that he didn't want to travel down. So things, he fell to peer pressure. He liked to party. He made some mistakes. So he fell short of, this ideal more often than not. So he did these things to try to help keep him on the right path. I don't think any of this stuff is new. Obviously I've been doing it since the founding of the country. But this little thing, I remember when this came out and people were talking about this way that he approached his day, right? So the morning, like this is, hours, like I guess, from 5 a.m. to, 4 a.m. It's kind of how he broke it down. Guess he got up at 5 a.m. or that was the goal. I'm an early riser. I don't know about you. What time do you wake up? It would be something I would like to learn about you. But this here, the morning question: what good shall I do this day? That's a cool way to start framing your day when you get up. Is to just put it in the right mindset of, what am I going to do that's good today, right? And so then he's got this thing from 5, 6, 7 to 8, 9 a.m. ish. Rise, wash, address powerful goodness, contrive day's business, and take the resolution of the day. Prosecute the present study and breakfast. The way they write things is funny, but essentially he's using his morning to get up, do his things, personal things that he has to do, but to take stock of what he has to do and formulate a small plan. Okay, then he's got from 9 until about noon work. Then he's got read, overlook personal things, eat lunch, back to work about 3 until about 6 or 7. Put things in place for the next day. All right. Get ready for other things, conversations, seeing people, whatever. Review the day. He has the evening question here: what good have I done today? So starting with that focus of what will I be, and then what did I do? So what did I plan to do, and did I accomplish those things? From his task list to, how he is in the world, and then sleep, back around until 5 a.m. It's pretty interesting stuff. In my opinion, that's one of the early ones that sort of kicked it off. But then he's got these other things that he's known for writing, the 13 virtues, right? And I think he started with well, according to the article here, 13 wasn't a nod to the original colonies, nor was it random. Mm, But he chose 13 because the number fits neatly into the calendar. So multiply it by 4, get 52, number of weeks in a year. All right. So he'd work on a single virtue at a time, work on it for a week, and then move on to the next time. Right. So, trying to fix everything that's wrong with you or that you see as something that needs to be worked on at one time is overwhelming. So he would work on these things systematically. So let's go through those two, the 13 virtues. And I think he also picked them because he failed at them. He's known in his writing to have noted that he's failed at these things. So I think that's also why he chose these. Okay. So the 13 virtues of Benjamin Franklin, you have temperance. All right. And these are his words, but we'll read it and break it down. Temperance, eat not to dullness and drink not to elevation. Right. So don't overindulge both in food and drink. Right. Have temperance. I think if you study him, he's well known for the opposite of that. Clearly something that he was working on as its number one. Silence, speak not, but what may benefit others or yourself. Avoid trifling conversation. So don't get into arguments and only speak, to be helpful, for yourself or for others. Order, let all your things have their places. Let each part of your business have its time. So, patience and order. Everything has its place. Let it belong there. Resolution, resolve to perform what you ought. Perform without fail what you resolve. So do what you say you'll do. That's a big one. It's a struggle, but if you make a promise, keep it. Frugality, make no expense, but to do good to others or yourself. So don't spend your money unless you need to, or you're helping someone, right? That I struggle with that one because I like a lot of stuff. Like I'm a gear bitch. Basically, I like shoes and workout equipment and things like that. So I do tend to waste some of my extra money. Should definitely be a little more frugal there. Industry, lose no time. Be always employed in something useful. Cut off all unnecessary actions. So, I hate to say it, but the video games, Helldivers 2, if you're into that, you gotta cut it back, put your effort into making yourself better, put your effort into your business, put your effort into things that see you forward. Sincerity, use no hurtful deceit, think innocently and justly. And if you speak accordingly. So don't lie and don't talk shit. Justice, wrong none by doing injuries or omitting the benefits that are your duty. So, don't hurt people physically, mentally, spiritually. Moderation, avoid extremes, forbear resenting injuries so much as you think they deserve. Don't go crazy. Just if you're going to do something, do it, but don't sink the ship because of it. Cleanliness, tolerate no uncleanliness in body, clothes, or habitation. So keep your shit straight. Don't look like a bum. Wash, be clean, especially if you're going to the gym. Don't be the stinky person. Chastity, rarely use venery, but for health or offspring. Never to dullness, weakness, or the injury of your own or another's peace or reputation. So don't be a slut. And he's a well-known slut. Tranquility, be not disturbed at trifles or at accidents common or unavoidable. Just, go easy. Go easy. Watch yourself. Don't do dumb shit to where you have, unavoidable accidents or avoidable accidents. Humility, imitate Jesus or Socrates. Put in wherever you want there, but humility, practice it. It's important. So yeah, these things, And you can look this stuff up. There's a lot of people like on YouTube or whatever that have done like the Benjamin Franklin challenge, which is to try to use that card. You can easily look this card up and download it, and try to organize it for yourself and try to do this, and then try to work on a virtue a week, and probably after a year you'll be a completely leveled up human. This post that I found is about that. It's about one person's journey in this thing. So there's a really cool quote. Be at war with your vices, at peace with your neighbors, and let every new year find you a better man. That's a great quote. So, work on those virtues, be friendly and helpful to others, and then Kaizen, friends. 1% every day. Just get a little bit better as you can. I don't know if you guys have ever read much Marcus Aurelius. Really great Stoic books and thoughts and things to really sink into and get better. But there's a person, if you haven't heard of him, you probably have. If you're on the internet and you found me, you probably found Ryan Holiday already. He's probably the most well-known translator, publisher, whatever, of the Stoic mindset, Marcus Aurelius, whatever. But I follow him on Instagram. He's got this thing called the Daily Stoic. Go and subscribe to that. It's awesome. But this card, man, this stuff, this filter, I'm write this down on a card and carry it, man. This some of these have just been sticking with me lately, and I wanted to share it here because I think some of this stuff can really change your life, can really impact your mental health in a super positive way. So this is from his card that he has on Instagram here, questions to ask every day. And I would say this is stuff like something happens to you or you're in a situation, you could run things through this filter, So let's go through them. He's got there's 7 or 8 here, but does anger make this better? So that's a really, I've been using that one. I've been using all these, but this one in particular, if something is happening, you can just ask, does anger make this situation better? I think it's Marcus Aurelius. He has one, and I've gotten it from Ryan Holiday, and it's that this doesn't have to be a thing, right? This thing doesn't have to affect me. I don't have to feel emotion about this thing. This thing doesn't have to change me. It's like I was watching an interview with Mike Tyson. I'll see if I can find it. But he says, if you let someone change who you are, then they've won, right? So if you let them affect you, you've lost, right? They won. You can't let someone else change who you are. Does anger make this better? Another one here. What do I care, or why do I care what they think? Man, run it through that filter, Do they love you? They help pay your bills. Outside of that, who cares? I know it's easier said than done, and I'm not giving you the old Joe Rogan don't read the comments thing, but why do I care what they think? Do they really affect me? If this think about who you get advice from. If this person is not an expert in the thing or affects your life in any way, why do you care what they say? Why do you care about their advice? What if I said no? That whole no is a full sentence. You don't have to do the thing. You don't have to say yes. I know it's like the antithesis of the always say yes thing, or, it's like a sales thing, always say yes. But what if I said no, to personal obligations or whatever? What if I didn't take that on? Is this necessary? Am I doing something that's not necessary? Then don't do it. That's a great approach for that minimal lifestyle, the minimal outlook on life. Is this necessary? This other one's really good. Am I being kind or clever? And there's a top comment here on Instagram asking the question, does kind or clever mean doing something for someone only to create a sense of obligation? Yes. But it's also, are you saying something to someone because you love them or you want to help them, or because it helps prop up your ego? Right? Am I being kind or clever? So we've talked about that before. So the positive / negative comment, or the positive spun negative comment, right? So like, for example, if you're like, it's a jujitsu example, someone submits you and you say, wow, that was really good that was a really good move. You submitted me. Awesome job. You're very good for a beginner, or you've improved a lot. Like you can give them the compliment without the added, like, for a beginner part, or you're really strong for your size, like those things can be seen negative, How can I be stronger from this or for this? Either way, it's just a way to look at a potential situation you're in and then seeing the positive aspects of it. How does this make me better? How does this make me stronger? And then the last one here, what can I let go of? Like, there's lots of things you can do to help embody this one, but like, what can I let go of? So one of the things I'll do is if I, like, I'm working with someone and they're like annoying me, or I'm trying to figure out if something they did is really, is me interpreting it a certain way, or if they really intended it that way, I'll write it down, or I'll write myself an email and schedule it to be sent in the future. There's a cool service called Future Me, where you can actually schedule emails for the future. But a lot of times I'll just write it down in a notes document. Or, you can do a journal or whatever, like how you feel about like the thing, and then how you feel about it. And then you can give it 24 hours, 48 hours, a week, whatever, and you can come back and look at it. And then if it's still bugging you, if you found that you've still been thinking about it, then it probably is something that needs to be addressed. But if, you write it down and you haven't thought about it at all, and it hasn't repeated, then, it's probably you interpreting it. So that's another good filter. This, what can I let go of? So I really dug this card. I'll link the page here up in the show notes here. But great series of things to sort of run your daily interactions through. Really helps me, and I thank Ryan Holiday for putting that out. Know the difference between those who stay to feed the soil and those who come to grab the fruit. Boom. This quote is about discerning the true intentions and actions of people in your life. Be aware of those who contribute to you or what you're doing positively to help you or the thing you're working on grow, as opposed to those who only seek to benefit from you the way you are or the work you do, and not really putting in the effort to help or whatever. Just being cautious of those self-serving people that show up in our lives, and it's just to be kind of mindful and diligent of that. How many times, have you been helpful and truly caring only to feel like you've kind of been taken advantage of? So this, know the difference between those who stay to feed the soil and those who come to grab the fruit. So I've talked about him before, but don't know if you subscribe to this or whatever. You should. I don't know how you feel about him, but this is Arnold Schwarzenegger's email, his website. It's his email newsletter. It's called the Arnold Pump Club. It's kind of funny, but there's some really good stuff in it. It's not all just Arnold writing, though. He's got a staff of people. I think he's just sort of like the brand sitting on top of it, but I like to pretend it's actually Arnold writing to me. Feels like it sometimes, whatever. But in this one, I don't know when this one was. It's from a few weeks ago or whatever. But he's got this section talking about building yourself up, right? When you're feeling down, or you're coming off of a loss, or like you're just trying to genuinely get going in a positive way or whatever. He's got these like 5 rules that he's written out here about, he's calling it making a comeback. But, building back up specifically, this is going to the gym, but it could be going back to, your jujitsu class, going back to something that you've been trying to, you're starting to lose weight again, or you're starting to write that book again, or whatever the thing is. But these things that he's written out, have a mission for every day, no matter how small it is. Like his example, even if it's just getting out of bed, you need a mission every day. So, before you go to bed, set the mission for the next day. So by the time tomorrow ends, or I get up, by the time today is over, I should have done A, or I should have done X, whatever that one thing is. That's a good way to end the day feeling like you've been successful in some way. So make sure you have that one mission. Don't try to do it alone. Accept support from friends and family. Don't be a lone wolf. Don't be a, you can get help. And I don't mean there are these people that they just ask people to do things all the time. Like, hey, could you do this? Or hey, could you go get that? Or hey, those are just like taskmaster type people. Those are the people who maybe aren't there to seed the soil. They're there to just kind of use and have you do things. I'm talking about people that will genuinely help you because they care, not because they're looking for something in return. So don't do it alone. Look for those people. Improvise and adapt. I think that's the Marines saying, but whether it's an injury, an illness, or a failure, things won't be the same as before. You must adapt to reality instead of wishing things were not how they are. You can't change the past. If you have an injury, you can't just magically make it go away. If you made a mistake, you can't just make it not happen, have happened. You have to accept it, work around it, right? Improvise and adapt around it, whatever that thing is. Don't beat yourself up, pump yourself up. That sounds like Arnold, but making a comeback is hard enough. If you're being negative to yourself, you're just making it harder. We talked a lot in other episodes here about positive mindset and positive self-talk. You have to do that. You have to talk positively yourself. You have to say things that really help pump you up. Okay? Remember, you're never alone. All of us have to make comebacks. You're not the first to do the thing that you're doing. You're not the only one doing it. There's a bajillion people on this planet. They've gone through things, probably gone through something similar. Others have done it. Just remember that. I tell myself that a lot. Like if I'm going through something hard, I'm like, hey, so-and-so have done this. I can do it too. Right? You can use those things. So yeah, so go check them out. It's a pretty good resource. I subscribe, and I actually, I like reading the things. It's pretty nifty. All right, this last one, I'm not sure that Greg Glassman's, the best person to fit this, but I really dig the quote here: "Do the right things for the right reasons for the right people." And this is from the CrossFit book. It's sort of like if you follow the CrossFit community, Greg Glassman was sort of like ostracized and stuff for some mistakes and for the person he is. But this is from the CrossFit book account, and I don't really know who's reading this, but this is a Dale King thing where he likes this. But the burden of tough decision making lies solely on the shoulders of the affiliate owner. So they're talking about, it's like an affiliate thing. This is talking about people who own their gyms and stuff. It's CrossFit speak, but it's about leaders and business owners and people who are in charge of other people, right? Leadership means oftentimes you have to pick the best option of two tough choices. Choosing the easy, obvious answer is a luxury no longer afforded to small business owners, right? And so he's saying one thing he's learned is that a filter to run it all through is do the right thing for the right reasons for the right people. One of my mentors, Bill Daniels, told me a few years ago that, being a sensei, being a karate teacher or whatever is about, it's about building family. And I think what he means is treating the people like you would treat people that you love and do the right thing at the right time for the right reason. He said that too. It's super important. So, if you're stuck making a tough decision, and let's say you're in a room and people are trying to decide on what to do and how to do it, and they're just talking about bottom line and cutting costs and just businessy things, and no one's asking, is this the right thing for the right people, or is this the right thing for the right reasons? Are we thinking about the right people for the right reasons? Whatever. Then you should probably ask those questions. Be that person in the room, be that conscience in the room. Don't, be humble about it. But that's a great filter. The right things for the right reasons for the right people. I'm going to definitely use that. So that's all I got. Sort of a debrief-ish episode. We'll just go ahead and call it a debrief. But I hope you got something out of this. And until next time, get after it, y'all.